So what's going on?
Well, I haven't been sleeping really well lately, so that's been frustrating.
Lately, like how lately?
Probably.
So he was kind of stuck, right? So I just needed to ask something. So this was a clarifying question to get it moving, but I'm trying really hard not to change the subject.
I feel like I wake up and I don't know. I just get really stimulated when I wake up and anxious, and when I fall asleep, I feel the same way.
Wow.
I have been playing a lot more video games before bed, just trying to fill up the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's connected to the waking up, you think?
Yeah, most definitely. It's kind of a bit of a catch-22 because I like using it to fill up the space throughout the day to make me feel better, but it also keeps me up, and that sometimes drags me down the next day.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to fill up the space, I guess, because I don't have a whole lot of friends here because I just moved.
So you'll notice he's going, right? He's talking now, and it's fine. I just stay out of his way because the more he talks, the more he can release charge, the more trust we build, and you'll see that throughout the conversation he'll be adding more and more detail, right? As he comes to trust that I'll listen, pay attention, and accept what he says.
A couple months ago.
Yeah.
And so, it can be tough to find friends, I'm sure you know.
And you're kind of figuring out what to do with yourself, and so it's the video game.
Yeah, just kind of filling the void a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said it's been hard to make friends.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to.
Still, I'm not adding any content, right? I'm just saying stuff that he told me so far. I'm trying really hard not to add anything to what he was saying.
To reach out to people, it's tough to go into new places and try and put yourself out there and figure out what's going on, and meet a group of friends to get close with. It's a lot of loneliness when you move away from home and you don't have that social support that you used to have. It's historically been family, when you're growing up, and then you have close friends, and you go to college. Well, at least for me, college was relatively close to family, so I still had a little bit of that to fall back on, which isn't the case now. I've moved a bit further, and so yeah, and I don't know, after you move away from college, you lose that circle of friends. Invariably, you're wanting to keep in touch, but you just don't tend to do so.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So you feel, it sounds like this is a big contrast to what you were experiencing before. But before, I guess at least in college, you had this tight
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah, I feel like I was a lot.
So I wigged, and he kind of, excuse me, I wigged, and he kind of cut me off and started talking. Fine. I basically just want him talking. If he cut me off, it means he thought I got it, or at least that I care enough to try to be wanting to get it, right? And then he continued on talking. So I stopped. Better that he talked than me.
Confident then too.
Yeah.
Once you started the job, you feel like you make a lot of mistakes, and it drives down your confidence. It's less of taking tests and you know what you are, right? You're an A guy or an A- guy, but I don't know. I just feel like I don't have a whole lot of confidence in myself anymore. So.
Because before you had this clear feedback, like in terms of grades, is that the difference?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like when I had.
So two things I wanted to say here really quick. That last thing that I said there was, I don't know, that was somewhere between a wig and a clarifying question, right? I repeated what he said, but I was wondering if that's the connection. This may not have been like my best wig ever. There was a little bit of a leading there. Worked for him. It was gentle enough, right? So in retrospect, I don't know if that's what I would have wanted me to say, but it seemed to work for him. The other thing I wanted to point out for you already is, like, think about the arc of the conversation already. He started from him having trouble sleeping, I'm playing too much video games, haha, kind of a situation. And then it got to him being lonely. Lonely is a pretty open word to use, eh? He was feeling lonely. And then he got to his self-doubt, right? In his current situation, contrast to how he was feeling before. So the conversation has really progressed pretty rapidly, just with me sitting there, listening to him and saying it back.
Clear feedback, it was certainly nice, but I don't know, I just feel like once you start making mistakes and you've had a few failures under your belt, it's hard to have confidence in yourself and build back up from that. So.
And that confidence translates also into social activities or being able to make new friends.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you put it pretty much perfectly. It's you have to be confident.
So I got a point there, right? When he said that, I definitely got a point. He's like, yes, you get it. I helped him understand what he's experiencing by saying it back to him. Magic.
To put yourself out there. And so I feel like because I don't have a whole lot of self-confidence and self-worth, it's hard for me to go into a room again like I used to and walk in there and make friends easily. And, you know, because of that, I'm just super freaking lonely. And it just perpetuates itself.
Yeah.
Because each interaction that I have with someone, it'll you know, not be confidence inducing. And then I think about it again the next time, and it keeps me from making friends, and there I am filling up the void, and I end up being overstimulated and I can't sleep, and then I feel bad about that and bad in general because everybody feels bad when they can't
you're
sleep.
kind of failing on all fronts. I mean, you're not taking care of yourself, you're not doing well enough at work to feel confident and walk into a room and make friends.
Yeah.
I want to excuse me, I want to say something about this last thing that I said there when I told him you're basically failing on all fronts. People are often worried about saying something like that as a wig, right? And I was saying it, I wasn't judging, that wasn't my impression of how he was doing, but that's what I heard him saying. And so I wanted to say it back to him. And people are worried about making other people feel bad by repeating things like that or fanning the flame. But it's not, you're not making them feel bad, you're making them feel heard and understood. Right? These are things that people have a hard time saying. And it's, you know, to tell somebody else, I feel like I'm just failing at this, and all the important things. And for the other person to be able to tell you calmly, it sounds like, I mean, you're basically failing in everything that's important to you. You're like, yes, you get it. It feels horrible, but I don't feel like you're judging me. I feel like you're with me. You're understanding what I'm experiencing. It's an enormous difference. It's very, very important to realize that. Wigging doesn't mean you're agreeing. But if the other person confirms, it means you understood. Super important. It's an incredible alliance builder, right? So allow yourself to go into the other person's world for a while during that phase of the conversation. Later on, when you speak, you can say your opinion. You might say, oh, in my opinion, you're doing not so horribly or great or but at the beginning, they have to know that you understand what they're saying. Because if you immediately say, no, you're doing great. This is a really tough situation. No, you're overcoming such challenges. They'll be like, oh, he doesn't get it. He doesn't understand, right? Whereas if you can show that you understand what their worldview is, that you're on their side of it, that you have their perspective, they'll listen to you better later, right? They'll believe you because you'll be talking from a place of knowledge and understanding. Onward.
That sounds very painful. And again, such a big contrast, right? From having the support group moving away, them fading. It sounds like you're not really staying close during this time. You were thinking you would be staying close, but everybody's kind of doing their own thing. In the meantime, because of work stuff, your sense of I don't know what to call it, worth, your confidence is going down, which then makes it hard to meet people, and then being lonely adds to the lack of confidence, and you're kind of stuck in this.
So at this point, this was a summary, right? Because he was kind of slowing down. I finished wigging, he kind of nodded and looked at me, right, maybe 30 seconds ago. And so I said, you know, I'm just gonna go into a summary and see what happens. Right, so I started telling the whole story as I understood it from him, and I'll wait and see what happens. Does he say, yeah, and stop talking? That probably means he's ready for me to say something? Or does he say, yeah, but also blah, 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 and he keeps talking, there's more charge to be released, right? So I tried a summary, see what happens.
Negative social, occupational.
Yeah, and I mean, that's all encompassing, you know? If you feel like in your social life you don't have any competence, in your work life you don't have any competence, and you feel like you're losing your sleep quality.
So he's still talking, right? There's still charge. So I'll let him talk and I'll wig.
Much of life, you know, that's everything.
Yeah.
So it's just a slippery slope.
Yeah, it becomes feels like a very one-way highway.
Yeah, very much so.
Wow. And you said that's been the last couple of months?
Yeah, it's been the past couple months. It's come to a crescendo. It's something that developed after college for sure. You know, that's when you get to meet a lot of people. And then you go into the workplace and you have much more closed in that work, and I don't know, you want to separate work and social stuff, so you try and move away from the work co-workers and things like that when you're looking for friends, but you know, you go out and you don't have a whole lot of success. So
So here I clearly waited an uncomfortable amount of time, right? And again, it's not a normal conversation. It's okay. He's not upset. He's kind of waiting to see what happens next. But I don't want to interrupt him if he's thinking, if he's saying something, because he's kind of talking and stopping, right? It seems like kind of a pregnant pause. I don't remember what I said next. Let's see it, and then we'll stop the demo.
So even the times that you did try, you feel like you kind of gave it an honest shot, but didn't work?
I don't know. I might have. It's tough when you have an easier fallback to just not try and put the effort forward. It's easier to do that, you know. It's
The fallback being the video game?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Or just
Okay, so that was a clarifying question, because I didn't understand what he meant when he said the fallback. Okay,